and welcome to the Clarity Convos for Wedding Pros podcast. My name is Aislinn. I am so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited to do this podcast. It's been on my mind for a while, and so I am just incredibly grateful to be starting this and having this adventure with you guys. So whether you are driving or you are cleaning your house or you're in the shower or wherever you are listening to this podcast, I just want to say a huge thank you. This is going to be an incredible adventure that we get to go on together. Something called you to listen to this episode today, and I really want you to look out for messages in this episode that are meant for you. So it might be just a little hit that you get, or it might be like ooh, I need to talk about that with someone, or ooh, that definitely brought something up for me. Whatever it is, I want you to be on the lookout for that, because that is the beauty of this particular medium. And that's why I love podcasts so much, is that you can be listening and you listen to it once and you're like, oh yeah, I got a couple things out of it. And then you listen to it again and you're like, oh my God, something huge just landed for me. So if we've never met before, hi guys, my name is Aislinn. I have a background as a luxury wedding photographer. So I was a wedding photographer for 13 years. I was published in Martha Stewart twice. I was published in Brides. I was published in Southern Weddings. Lots and lots of accolades that I could go through. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of from my wedding career is the robust systems, the incredible client experiences, the intense boundaries that I had to set internally for myself, as well as communicate with my clients, the workflows that really created ease and flow within my business. These were some of the things that I am so proud of that time in my life and that part of my career. And the cool thing is that I'm now a coach. I'm an intuitive business coach. And that means basically I help people create businesses that feel really, really good for them. And what's so cool is that that's going to look different for everyone. Like I could give you a system for something and you're going to be like, this feels terrible. Or we can come up with a system together that feels really good and it feels really, really good for you, but it might not feel good for the next person down the road. So that's what I love about coaching, is that I really get to help people make their businesses feel even better. And because I'm no longer in the wedding industry as a wedding photographer, I feel like I've hit this point where I get to reach back and help the people who are still in the industry create businesses that feel really good. Because I don't know about you, but having a wedding business sometimes can be super, super stressful. So it's something that I am very passionate about, is helping other wedding professionals. So now that I am no longer photographing weddings and climbing to the top of mountains to shoot weddings, I teach women in the wedding industry how to master their mindset and create this beautiful overflow and abundance in their businesses. And that can look like an abundance of money. It can look like an abundance of clients. It can look like an abundance of peace. It can look like an abundance of space. There's so many different ways that this can go for my different clients, and each one of them has different unique things that they want to create overflow in their business. And so it's so fun for me to really hone in on that and help them with that. And the way that I do that is I have a signature program called Success Accelerator Program. You will hear me talk about it often. It's called SAP for short, because holy moly, that's a mouthful. It's a beautiful 12-month program that you get to plug into. We have group calls every single month, twice a month. There's also a pre-recorded, there's a whole bunch of trainings. I don't even know if I could count them at this point, but there's at least 25 trainings that you get to plug into. And you get to have this beautiful community of other women who are wanting abundance, and they're wanting overflow, and they're wanting to really have impact with their business and impact with their lives. And that's, oh my gosh, I feel so incredibly lucky that I get to do this for a living. It blows my mind every single day. So obviously, this is the first episode of the podcast. And really where I'm going with this podcast is I want it to be this incredible space for these conversations that are going to clear up the fog and the mind drama, and they're going to give you that clarity that you're looking for. So often I hear from my clients that we will talk for like 10 minutes and they're like, oh my gosh, I have so much clarity. Or they'll walk away and be like, man, I've never looked at it from that perspective. Or wow, I really needed to hear that today. So I'm excited that this podcast gets to be a space where I get to share those things with you and get to have these types of conversations and these types of beautiful ways of thinking about life and thinking about business. So on this podcast, we're going to be talking about mindset. I'm going to give you guys as many mindset things as I can possibly give you. Some of them I've learned from my coaching career. Some of them I've learned from my wedding career. Some of them I've learned from therapy. Some of them I've learned from other coaches or courses that I've taken. Whatever it is, I'm going to share it with you because I know that these are incredibly valuable tools that maybe you haven't been exposed to before, or maybe you have, but you need to be exposed again in order for you to actually go implement them. So yeah, we're going to talk about mindset. We are also going to talk about money, and we're going to talk about money mindset. And I know that's going to be a hot topic for some of you guys, and it's going to be like a, ooh, yay topic for some of the rest of y'all. We're also going to talk about manifestation. So yes, I'm going to talk to you guys about meditation and manifestation and different journaling prompts and things like that. I really want you guys to have an open mind and have curiosity. Because if you keep doing the same things that you're doing right now, you will be in the same place in a year from now. So what my job here as your podcast host is to expose you to different types of ways of learning, different manifestation techniques, different money mindset, different mindset techniques, whatever it is. My job is to expose you to it. And then you get to take what resonates for you and go live your life and go implement and see what feels really good for you. The other thing we're going to talk about is, of course, business strategy. So business strategy, I love. I'm definitely going to talk to you guys about different ways to bring in more revenue, different ways to create client experiences that are truly unique for your wedding clients. But we are going to do it through the lens of creating a business that feels really good, because I'm really tired of people talking about strategy in the wedding industry. And it's like, do this, more. And honestly, not everybody wants more. Sometimes you just want a little bit more space. Sometimes you just want a little bit more peace. Sometimes you just want a little less comparison. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to do when we're talking about business strategy, is take it from this lens of creating a business that feels really good for you, which means I'm not necessarily going to give you step 1, 2, and 3 for things. I'm going to give you like journal prompts and like different things to think about. And then you, as the listener, get to go take those things and see what resonates for you. So today's episode is going to be super short and sweet. I really just want to explore what it means to create more clarity in your life and a couple of ways that you can do this today. Because I don't want you to be like, wow, cool, clarity, good job, and not do anything with it. I want you guys to start implementing these things today. And these are things that I talk about in Success Accelerator program with my clients in there. So the first thing that we want to do when we're trying to create more clarity in our life is we have to be willing to be the observer of our thoughts, our patterns, and our actions. So right now, you may not, I don't know. You might not necessarily go through your life and like be thinking about the thoughts that you're having. And this is going to feel super meta for some of you guys, but really what it means to be the observer of your thoughts, behaviors, and actions and patterns in your life is to start to notice. So just go through your day today and just start to notice. You are not there to judge yourself. You are not there to squash any types of thoughts. You're not there to be like, oh, that's a bad pattern, or like, oh man, that's a crappy thought, or like, oh, why did I do that? None of that. I'm not asking you to judge yourself. What I'm asking you to do is to be willing to be the observer of your thoughts, patterns, and behaviors and actions. So what I want you to do today, go throughout your day. And as you are driving and you have a thought that comes up that's like, oh, man, that person on social media, like that wedding they did last weekend was so much better than the wedding I did. Clock it. Clock it right then and there that that's a thought. And there is a thought behind that is a limiting belief. And I want you to look at that thought and be like, oh, well, that's really interesting that I would think that thought. So this is what I mean by being willing to be the observer of your thoughts, patterns, actions, and behaviors, is just being willing to look at those things. So I'll give you another example. If you're, I don't know, looking at something, let's say you're a photographer and you're looking at the wedding that you just edited and you're like, man, those clients were so cool. I loved the way that they held each other's hands during the first dance. That was honestly the sweetest thing that I've seen in a long time. And I just really appreciate when people are affectionate in that kind of way where it's just so unique to them. Clock it. That thought right there is a beautiful thought. And I want you to be like, oh, interesting. How can I create more of that in my life? How can I look for more of those types of interactions in my life? So that's number one way to create more clarity in your life is just being willing to be the observer. Being the observer of your thoughts, patterns, behaviors, and actions. I just want you to start thinking a little bit more 30,000 foot view and a little bit less like you're like on the ground. You know what I mean? So the second thing that we can talk about with creating more clarity in our life is tuning out the noise. Okay, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get into a funk and I really want to be real with you guys. Like I've been in a funk for just a little bit and I've been having to actively tune out the noise and stay in my lane. So what this looks like for me is I cut the distractions, I cut the scrolling, I cut the other people's opinions of how I should live my life out. And I'm not saying like you have to do these things forever. What I'm saying is I want you to go on your phone today, turn off notifications for 20 minutes and go put your phone in a different room. And I want you to clock how many times am I like, I think I want to go check my phone. That right there is something that you have control over. You have control over how many times you check your phone. You have control over how many notifications can come through. I'll be honest, I don't actually keep Facebook on my phone anymore because I just don't want the notifications. I do keep Instagram, but I don't have notifications on. I have to go into the app itself in order to actually go look at whatever is going on in Instagram land. So what I want you to do if you're trying to create more clarity in your life is to start tuning out the noise a little bit more. And this does not mean that you have to delete social media. And it doesn't mean you have to go on like a 1 month hiatus and like tell everyone and their cat like, hey guys, I'm going on to social media hiatus. It's like the bane of my existence. Like you don't have to do that. All you have to do is just start to notice like, man, it does not feel great when I am like checking my phone every 5 minutes. That doesn't feel great. So how can I cut out the distraction just a little bit more? And I can promise you, you're going to have more clarity in your life when you're not looking at what other people are doing as much. So that's one of the other things that we can do when we're creating more clarity in our life is cutting out the noise, tuning out the noise. Finally, when we talk about clarity and creating more clarity in our life, we have to talk about the inner work. So the inner work is interesting because I think a lot of people in the wedding industry assume that it's like, ooh, let's meditate for an hour and a half every single day and let's journal until our hands bleed and let's, talk about our feelings. And like, I mean, somewhat like if you want to go extreme, like you do you, but also that's not what it has to mean in order to get clarity in our life. So like for me, doing the inner work kind of looks like asking myself the harder questions. And the ego is going to be like, dude, please, for the love of God, stop asking me these questions. I just want to do what I want to do. But in order for us to get the things we want out of our life and to get more clarity about what we want out of our life, we have got to do this inner work and we have got to ask ourselves these questions, even if at first we don't want to answer them. I'll be honest, I've been doing inner work multiple years now, and I've been doing it like consistently, like every single day kind of inner work for multiple years now, both therapy work and coaching work and just like journaling kind of work. I've been doing this for a while. There are still times where I will be like, I do not want to answer this question because this question makes me look at things like judgment, and it makes me look at things like shame, and it makes me look at things like how I'm not showing up for myself. And like the ego is going to be like so not about that. So when we're thinking about asking ourselves the inner work, we really have to give ourselves grace and give ourselves this like judgment-free space of like, okay, I see a judgment thought is coming up. Okay, I see you. I hear you. That's okay. That's okay. I still need to answer the question. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple of questions that you can ask yourself if you're starting to do the inner work. And I think you are going to be so excited. This is part like, I think this is going to be the thing that is like, if you were listening to this episode and you were wanting to like get something out of it, I feel like this right here is worth, this is worth like multiple like months of coaching with me right here is some of these questions I'm about to ask you. Okay. So the first question you have to ask yourself, and this is a hard question, is it true? Is it true? Is the thing that's sitting in front of me actually true? Is it true that I have to work 40 hours a week in order to make the amount of money that I want to make in a day or whatever? Is it true that I can't possibly have a fully booked out calendar? Is it true? Whatever. Like there's so many different things you can do, but like I want you to like go throughout your day and like you're really like kind of getting more advanced in the inner work parts of things. asking yourself, like, is it true? Is it actually true? The thing that I just told myself, like, oh, is it actually true? No, probably not. Okay, well, what is the truth? Okay, so the second inner work question that I like to ask is, what do I get out of this situation? This one will send my ego into a spiral. Like, oh my God, this one is so hard to like ask yourself. And so like, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't want to ask that, you don't have to. Like, this is just, I'm giving you guys some really good questions to ask yourself. So what do I get out of this situation? So let's just say that you are having, I don't know, like you're having a hard time with a client. You're having a hard time with a client. They're emailing you all the time and you're breaking your boundaries left and right. Okay. You have to ask yourself, like, why is this happening? And it can't be the other person. It has to be like, why is this happening like on my end of things? Because I cannot control the person across the table from me. What am I getting out of this situation? Am I getting, an ego stroke by them wanting my attention all the time? Am I getting to be like pissy and be like, sometimes this is definitely where I go. Am I getting out of the situation that I get to feel like I'm taking the high road? Like, do I get to feel like morally superior? That sucks. Like when you figure out that it's like that you were trying to be morally superior, like that really sucks. What else might you get out of the situation? Am I getting distracted? And so if I'm distracted, then that means that I don't have to go do that thing that I really want to do, like start a podcast or make a course or, raise my prices, any of those things. So asking yourself, what do I get out of the situation is a really deep inner work question that I both hate and love. And then finally, this one, I just kind of alluded to this one, but this question is really great to kind of like dig deeper into like what's going on for you. And it's, if that thing I want actually manifests, what am I afraid is going to happen? So for example, if you wanted to start a course and you were like, you've been sitting on this thing for like 6 months, like you have the idea, you kind of know what you want to price it at, but like things just keep getting in the way, like life just keeps getting in the way. Like, oh, you're just so busy. You know what I mean? Okay. I want you to ask yourself, if the thing I want, so let's just say if the thing I want is to build a course, if the course actually comes to creation and it actually happens and I actually launch it and I actually like have created it and it's out there, what am I afraid is going to happen? And I really want you to sit with this question because annoyingly, a lot of times the answer is, I'm going to have more responsibility. I'm going to be responsible for people's going through this course. What else could I possibly be afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm going to have more money and I don't feel like I'm a good steward of my money. I'm afraid that I am going to say something wrong and someone's not going to like me. And I really want people to like me. I'm afraid that I'm going to look bad and I'm going to fall on my face and that this launch is not going to go well. This question will uncover so many things for you. And then what you get to do with that information is you get to look at it and you get to turn it around in your hand and say, is this true? Is this actually true? Without a shadow of a doubt, is this the truth? Or is this a story? Is this false? Is this something I'm telling myself to keep myself safe? So if that thing I wanted actually manifests, what am I afraid will happen is one of those questions that like, oh, you could go so deep with this question. And I do with my clients a lot of times. And I do this in SAP too. Like we talk about this kind of stuff. Like, what are you actually afraid is going to happen? So that right there is just kind of like generally what we're going to talk about on this podcast. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about clarity. We're going to talk about manifestation. We're going to talk about business strategy through the lens of making your business feel really, 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 really good. And yeah, we're going to talk about our feelings and that gets to be great too. And I'm so excited for you to listen to these episodes and to get something out of them and to clear that fog and that mind drama and to go get that clarity that you're looking for. It is truly such an honor for me to be able to give you guys this information and to be able to be a coach. There's a lot of times I didn't think that I could do it. And I'm sitting here right now doing it. And I just want that for you so badly, whatever it is, whether it's like getting published or creating a course or creating extra revenue streams, or honestly, just making your business right now as it is feel better. Those are the things that I want for you. And I'm so excited to host this podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you. If you enjoyed today's podcast episode, please leave a review. I would feel so incredibly honored if you did that. Also, I would love it if you would share this with your friends because this is a new podcast. I'm getting it off the ground. And if you had any comments or anything that you want me to go deeper on, you can send me an email that's in the show notes. And if you were like, SAP sounds really interesting, you can also go find me on Instagram. The links are going to be in my bio for that. I cannot wait to get deeper into these things with you. I am so proud of you wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now. I am so excited for your business to feel even better and for you to really, really gain that clarity that you are hoping to seek out. You know what I mean? All right, guys, I will see you guys on the next episode. I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope you found it helpful, and I will talk to you soon.